Hi, I am so glad you guys made it to lesson one. And as promised, we are literally going to jump right in. I promise it's not that much neuroscience. I just kind of want to go over the basics of what a neuron is. So this is a neuron. You have about 100 billion of these, mostly in your brain. 40,000 of them are in your heart, which is why there's a scientific nickname that the heart is our little brain, because nowhere else in the body are there as many in one concentrated place, but they are throughout our body. They're throughout our nervous system, and we're just gonna talk a little bit more about neurons, and then we'll get into why it pertains to you and why you're here. Promise I'm not a mad scientist, and I'm not gonna go really that far into the vocab on what you need to know. There's really not that bad. It's not that painful. Basically, the neurons have chemical and electrical messengers, and they send and receive information. Body, brain, energy waves, processing information all the time. All kinds of energy. Your senses, your 5 physical senses, the rays of light that you can and cannot see as a human, can still penetrate. So you can get into all kinds of messages that your brain can receive. And some people go a little overboard. You got to be careful. You have to use your wise mind and know what that is so that you can think and not get caught in a witch tent or something like that. Everyone gets really hokey about those things. So we never want to be accused of we don't want to get burned at the stake. So that's all we're going to get into. I did want to geek out a little bit because I am more of a scientific mind for this, and I really love the way that these show the synapses going on when one neuron talks to another because they're messengers. So this would be chemical messages being sent throughout the body and electrical messages being sent throughout the body. I just thought that was a really good visual. I learned visually. I liked the pictures. I just wanted to share them with you. And invite you to geek out with me more if you're someone who wants to get into this sort of thing. What kind of neural messages are there? What kind of chemical information is running through my brain? There are chemicals in my body. What is this lady talking about? Yeah, you guys have heard of most of them. You know adrenaline, you know serotonin, you know dopamine. I'm sure some of you have heard of GABA. There's a really popular medicine called gabapentin, which is like a serotonin, a dopamine, changes all those things. We have the whole alphabet of medicine available to you. But yeah, that's not what this course is about. But if you want to talk about that with me later, I would be really happy to. And then the last part that we are going to just talk a little bit about, because it has to do with the neural pathway, is our autonomic nervous system. And I am going to call it the automatic nervous system. You guys, throughout this, I'm not going to say autonomic. And then every time I try to say it, it'll be autonomic, automatic. That's it. This is what happens automatically in your body. You're blinking, you're breathing, your blood pressure. And the reason why it pertains to this is because sometimes automatically in your autonomic nervous system, those neural pathways are they're recognized and memorized. So when you have an experience or your body recognizes it as a similar experience, it can send out that neural pathway lightning fast. Like when you feel heat, if you touch a hot stove, as quickly as you recognize heat equals pain and move your hand away, that was a neural pathway. That was a program that you learned. Ouch. Don't put my hand on something that's going to burn me because that equals pain and I don't want that. So it's also, that's also where we get into the ego, is later on we're going to talk about how it protects you from things that you've told your body that you don't want to experience again. And then we get into inner child a little bit later on, as well as some shadow work, which is also really exciting. And I'm just so glad you're here with me on this journey. You guys, we're going to have so much fun. But you've been hacked. So what do I mean by you've been hacked? We're going to talk about this in a couple different ways, like you're a computer or you're the director of a movie, or we're going to do a lot of different visuals and a lot of different perspectives so that you can kind of grasp some of these concepts that are a little bit harder to grasp, especially at first, jumping right on with neuroscience. I mean, that's a little bit intense. So we're going to like put a lot of humor in there. We're going to put a lot of jokes in there, and we're going to get this as specific to you because we've all been hacked. That's part of growing up. No one can be born and not have any outside influences. It's nature versus nurture, you guys. We don't know which one is stronger. We know that you are you, and you came into this world as just you. And then there were experiences that shaped and molded you more into who you are today. But there are also experiences that shaped and molded you away from who you were then. So we're going to look at all these different parts of you, and then we're going to line them up so that you are actually you. And that's a really beautiful thing. I'll see you guys in lesson 2.